Hey friends, Chief Janice here. Today is the first day of Black History Month, and because I am the only historian, I've decided to give a few Black history tips, family friendly, of course, so your children can listen to these brief history tips. I'm going to first start off by saying yes, the majority of Black Americans are indigenous to America. We've gone by quite a few names here. We've gone by Black, we've gone by Negro, we've gone by Indian, we've gone by African American. Jesse Jackson made that one up in the 80s. But that's the most recent one. And now, if you were born somewhere in the late 80s, mid 90s, you have no race on your birth certificate. So you're going by whatever you call yourself, basically. Nonetheless, there was a reason for that. The reason being is that you are an heir to American soil. That means your ancestors had real estate, lots and lots of acres of real estate that you are an heir to by them constantly changing your name and your identity. It makes it a little bit harder to claim that ancestor that had those particular acres of land unless you are impeccable with paperwork, meaning you can trail yourself back to that ancestor via paperwork, family records, death certificates, birth certificates, and so forth and so on, marriage certificates, etc. The story that we were told in school, and the story that's still being told in school, is somewhere around 1619 you were brought over on a slave ship. Well, let's put some context to that story. Somewhere around 1619, 20 and odd people were brought from the Caribbean, which is kind of iffy there, because people in the Caribbean, majority of them were American Indian anyway. Nevertheless, here's the story. 1619, 20 and odd came on a boat from the Caribbean. They said the boat came from Angola, landed in the Caribbean, and then landed here in America. I don't see why a boat would go from Angola to the Caribbean and then come up to America. But let's just keep with the story. These 20 and odd people were traded for maize. That's corn, if you don't know what maize is. So a boat came all the way from Africa, landed in the Caribbean, then came here to America, and 20 people were exchanged for corn. Now, here's where you get your 400 years of slavery story from, those 20 and odd people. That 1619 to 2019, that's the 400-year period that the title 400 years of slavery, that's where that narrative came from. Now, these 20 and odd people got here to America, they were able to hide amongst tribes in that area because their skin tone matched. Now, there were people already here. Prior to that, somewhere in the 1500s, another group of people who kind of look like us, called Spaniards, they came over here as well and mixed in with the indigenous population. When the Spaniards, their nickname is the Moors, when they came over here in the 1500s, there were already literally millions of people who looked just like me roaming this landmass, but that puts you at a little bit over 400 years, kind of teetering at 500 years maybe on this landmass. Only thing is, we date back way further than that. Let's go to Lithonia, Georgia, for example. In Lithonia, Georgia, there is a graveyard that was carbon dated to 10,000 years. These are Negro bones that was excavated from a mound in Lithonia, Georgia, estimated to be 10,000 years old. Now, if you know anything about Lithonia, Georgia, this is a historically Negro city. You have Flat Rock in that area. You have Panola Mounds. A lot of that was ran by the Lyons family and the Bryant family, so forth and so on. Families that look like me, predates any kind of story of Christopher Columbus, aka the Moor story that you hear about, and any kind of story of 1619 being exchanged for corn. Now, those of you who predate these stories, I mean by thousands of years, you are what's considered heirs to America. You are the demographic of people whose race is continually changed. That's you. There are all kind of marketing campaigns that are out to kind of turn you away from America and turn you to another landmass. But I'm here to tell you, keep your eyes on America. And if you are in school, put your eyes on America and dig into your family's history. It is a remarkable history. Somewhere during the Civil War, right before the Civil War of 1860, it's almost as if everybody who was born around that time was automatically considered to be born into slavery. Now, this born into slavery story is also an interesting marketing campaign, because a lot of those people were what's considered free men, meaning they didn't have a boss. Others who had a boss, who worked for someone, whether it was working for a goldsmith or working on a farm or working as a merchant or whatever, working on boats, whatever their job title was, those people were considered to be born into slavery, because slavery was a term in the 1800s that just basically meant employee. In a nutshell, it meant employee. And so when we think of born into slavery, we think of what we see on TV, you know, the whips, the chains, the striped suits. But that wasn't the case. That was a marketing campaign as well, to get your eyes turned to another landmass and to also be ashamed of your ancestors and the relatives that came, basically the relatives that came before you. Do not be ashamed. These people had businesses. These people had land. They controlled commodities. I mean, they were remarkable. Your last names, you were royalty. You are electors. You descended from the royalty that they are still making movies about and changing how the face looks on the movie. That's called whitewashing. So a lot of the stories that you hear are whitewashed versions of your ancestors, literally. Literally. The warriors, the kings, the whole nine yards, the inventions. Black Americans invented so much stuff. I mean, I'd go on for an hour just listing the inventions alone. So, that being said, here on the first day of Black History, I think we should rename it from Black History Month to Black Restitution Month or Black Reparations Month. I think Black Reparations Month sound a little bit better because we have a lot of foreigners here on our ancestors' land who has controlled, so much of the financial wealth that was supposed to be stored for us. They control it. They've been controlling it and been telling us another story. And when we ask for reparations, people turn a blind eye. So perhaps we should talk about all of the inventions, Perhaps we should talk about all of the land, not just farmland, but actual monuments. Perhaps we should talk about all of the mounds that were looted, that were supposed to be protected via Indian laws. They were supposed to be protected by the Department of Interior, but they were looted. That's why we are now able to know that there were mounds here with bones in them that dates back to 10,000 years. We know that because the graves were looted. We know that because we have artifacts that were stolen. We have bodies that were stolen out of graves. Where are those bodies? Where are the artifacts? Where is the money from the land patents? Where is the money? Because when you have a land patent, sometimes there are royalties connected to the land patents. You don't know what a land patent is? It's just like when you come up with an invention and you patent your idea, except these don't expire. So your ancestors were so smart. They mapped out, they surveyed their homeland, and then they got what's called patents on their homeland. And on those patents, it's for you, the heirs, forever. Forever is a mighty long time. Where is the restitution? Where are the reparations for this forever? That's the question that I'll be asking all month. Hopefully we can change the name of this holiday to Black Reparations Month. That's what I think. Those are my thoughts. Anyway, this was just a brief lesson. I get more in depth into history on Tuesdays on my channel. If you like to laugh, visit my channel on Fridays. If you want some good news, I am launching another segment. Okay, the Excelsior segment, all good news, business development and things of that nature will be on that segment. Anyway, catch me on the internet, Unpacked with Chief Janice, as I unpack these topics of history and family and legacy and lineage and heirship. I'll see you guys around the internet. Follow me on IG, Chief Janice _. Follow me on YouTube, Unpack with Chief Janice. Love you. Bye.